Hello, this is Friendly Cat. This is an overview of the mod Ragnarok Enhanced. Let's get to it. From the start, single player, new game, Germany. We're going to play it with Iron Man mode off, so if you need to go to the console you can. Hit start and launch it up. This mod is based on the amazing mod Ragnarok, and that plays very much like an achievement, which is a scenario. Effectively, the whole world declares war on you, and you need to defeat them. I like achievements, I like scenarios, so I like this as well. During this overview, I'm going to reference Ragnarok as I played it about a year and a half ago, how it plays today, and then compare it to this mod. So occasionally I'm going to say a year and a half ago it worked like this, and now Ragnarok works like this, and then this mod works like that. So to start off is very similar to both of the other versions of Ragnarok. Germany the Liberator, well, it's a little bit different. I like it. It's designed to be pretty straightforward English, so it's in January 1937, so about a year from now, the world will declare war on Germany for no good reason. You do need to turn on news pop-up notifications in the Decisions tab. If you're like me and you often play with this unchecked, you want to make sure that's checked. Any war between Germany and another country will start the global conflict early. Okay, starting these two focuses, First Vienna Award or First Lubitschenka Award, will start the conflict early. You should play with the historical AI focuses on, which we did. Do not take the focus of post-Hitler. And Germany will receive bonuses at the start of the game and at the start of the conflict. Good luck and have fun. So far, very similar to the other versions of Ragnarok. What you may notice is that there's only one option to go forward. There's no easy, medium, hard, or brutal difficulty. It's just one difficulty. I think this is a challenging enough scenario as it is. As you hover over the I'm Ready button, it will tell you all the different bonuses. You get quite a bit. The original Ragnarok mods give you quite a bit. This version gives you just a little bit more, but at least I need it. I should say I think it works out to have just a little bit more, particularly considering that the concept here is the whole world gets the bonus of being at war with you at the same time. So to offset or counter that, Germany will get a little bit of bonuses as well. And I know this is actually quite a bit of bonuses, but they'll need it. When you click I'm Ready, it then activates the different focuses, or completes the focuses, completes some research, and then you've got some factories, and you've got an otherwise normal playing game for the first year. So for our purposes, we're going to fast forward in a moment to just before that January 1937, so we can see what happens when the world declares war on us. Welcome back. So it's just about the end of 1936. For this overview, I went to the console and gave ourselves some infantry weapons and some artillery and other items so that we could actually hold our fronts for a little bit while I talk without watching the whole thing crumble apart. If you actually play it out, your armies probably won't look like this. I didn't take any focuses, or actually I did take the Rhineland, demilitarize the Rhineland focus, but other than that I left the focuses alone. You would probably build ships, use your military factories. It wouldn't look like the screen you're seeing here. I'm intentionally not showing you how I would play the mod because this is the mod that I created. Actually, that I enhanced. The Ragnarok, I did not create the original Ragnarok mod. Alright, so just before January 1st, 1937, let's unpause the game and let it run. And as it crosses into the new year, we're going to get an event. And it says, okay, it's New Year's Eve in Berlin, and after a few drinks, the German leader shared his thoughts on world domination. Alright, it's happened to the best of us. Foreign dignitaries are displeased. No problem. Yeah, so our diplomats work it out. This shouldn't be an issue. In the real world, this wouldn't be an issue. And true enough, our diplomats have settled this minor issue. Let's just hang out, press play, let the time pass. Oh, looks like there's been a diplomatic conference in London. Okay, German intelligence has noticed heavy telegraph traffic. So far this plays again very similar to Ragnarok. The narrative is a little bit different, but certainly the outcome is going to be very similar. That we'd appear the only nation not to have received an invitation. Oh goodness. Couldn't have been about those few words, could it? That our leader spoke when he had a few drinks? Couldn't have been. Must be something else. Well, let's just let it play out and see what happens. Well, some more time passes. La-di-da. Oh, that's sudden. Huh. then the Spanish Civil War is ended. That's okay. Okay, fantastic. That's interesting. Again, that plays out similar as the other mods as well, as certain things are happening behind the scenes that we don't know about. Oh, it looks like we've bypassed a focus. Okay, that's interesting. And oh goodness gracious, the war begins. At a meeting in London, there was a joint proclamation of global war against Germany. Alright, now this whole scenario is unrealistic, but again, most of the achievements or scenarios in HOI4 are a little bit unrealistic. But we're going to try to make this as plausible as possible. So Poland led the efforts by using the New Year's Eve mishap as an excuse to propose a partition of Germany. Now, partitions do happen in the real world. Historically, Poland knows a little bit about partitions. Not necessarily in the circumstance that we're looking at here, but they do happen. And France was the first to greedily agree to Poland's scheme. Oh, who can blame France to pick up a little bit of this German land? And then other European nations also joined in. Everyone wants a piece of Germany. Everyone wants to partition up Germany. Again, a little bit of a stretch, but there's some plausibility. Promises, bribes, threats, and blackmail. Oh goodness, convinced the rest of the world to also declare war on Germany. Wow, this is very unfortunate. And Germany, of course, only wishes for peace. Again, the narrative is a little different, but the outcome is very similar as the other Ragnaroks. We're going to hit we wish only for peace, which will then start to trigger certain events that draw, in this case it starts with Asian countries enter the war, and then we'll click it again so that African and Middle Eastern countries enter the war, North and Central American countries enter the war, and then South American, and then all done. I think if we go into open country list, we will see that the entire world is now at war with us. Yep, that's everyone. I mean, the only one, that's us. That's Germany's the only non-check mark. Alright, so again, really hats off to the original maker of the Ragnarok mod, that what he's created, or she's created, they've created, has held up so well. I didn't make much changes to the core features as far as the declaration of war, so that's just fantastic work. Alright, so now we're going to take a look at some of the changes. So first we're going to let it run for a little bit longer, and let the allies, by the way, the whole world is now part of the faction called the Allies, kind of move themselves around. And the game's going to move a little bit slower. Oh, looks like we get another pop-up. Just like the other Ragnaroks, we get another pop-up. Peace through total military victory. Peace, okay. So our leader gives a stirring speech calling on the nation to liberate the world from the tyranny of despots and dictators. And I'll leave it on your time to read all the cool stuff here, but pretty much it's, they call themselves our enemies and we know that they are our friends. They aim to kill and we shall save them from themselves. Wow, I love it. The indomitable spirit of the German people will bring eternal peace to the world. Ah, that sure makes me feel good. I'm glad that that's where we're going on this plan. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Okay, so in Ragnarok, they give you a bonus. Now this is significantly more powerful than the Ragnarok bonus. But I do feel that that's somewhat fair. You know, the whole world gets to declare war on you at once. Let's give Germany some bonuses as well. I think the original Ragnarok game, like when I say original, I mean from a year and a half ago. The earlier one was extraordinarily difficult and a slog. It's a good mod, but it's just painful. I don't know anyone who's played that. I've seen any videos of someone who's played that and said, I can't wait to play it again. This Enhanced Ragnarok, including the upgrade I did a while ago, is designed to make it a little easier to play, a little more fun to play, more likely that you might want to play it again. And so these certainly look like overpowering bonuses, but I do think it still makes it a challenging mod. At least for me, it's a challenging mod. Maybe for you, it's not so challenging, in which case I'm open to making changes. So we're going to, let's do this, which then gives us that national spirit, or the idea spirit of victory, and all those really cool, really powerful bonuses. Maybe as powerful as I know of. And then we're going to let things go, play for a little bit longer. You can see we're seeing some planning bonuses, and I'm going to hit fast speed just so we can kind of see some of the differences in play between how this plays and how the other Ragnaroks play. And what your experience, depending on what you've seen in some of the videos from a while ago, and how that plays out. So we're going to let it play out. We're intentionally holding still. That's why I gave myself the console of those armies, so I could just let them sit around and not worry about getting run over. Okay, we got some military advisors recalled. Makes sense. So they're continuing. So one thing you may notice is that non-Polish troops have now moved into Poland to help guard their border. At the moment, guard their border. So that's the first of the differences. Compared to the Ragnarok mod, this mod eliminates some of the under the hood or the hidden bonuses. Some of you may have noticed if you played that mod or looked at the mod files, that as I recall, that when the war starts, the world gets, as I understand, to go to war economy and to, I think it is, extensive conscription. Some countries get factories, some countries get resources. Those bonuses are all gone. The world has to live with what the world has. That means if the United States is on free trade, a disarmed nation, they've got to live on free trade and disarmed nation, and undisturbed isolation. They've got to get out of that on their own. They no longer get a free pass to war economy. I think this whole scenario stretches things as it is. So giving countries a free pass to war economy, we're not going to do that. This is enough to let them do this. But that doesn't make it an easier mod. I think in many ways this might be more challenging than more recent mods, because since the mod's release, Paradox has made some great changes to the game to make it more, I say, playable or a better game based on a World War II scenario, and one of which is it keeps England and its allies out of Poland. Well, I've removed that limitation for this mod, which means now the allies will come into Poland. You may have seen some of the recent videos where it's a very thin line, few troops, maybe even a gap in the line, or one division here, just because Poland is on its own to guard its borders. Well, no more. Now the other allies are able to go into Poland to help it out. Something else you may have noticed is that in the Ragnarok mod from about a year and a half ago, the AI seemed pretty aggressive, and I had a hard time completely recreating that level of aggressiveness. I think Paradox, again, has done a great job at reducing the AI. It's not just aggression, but reckless aggression. The original AI would, kind of go nuts on your lines and then kill themselves against your line, just do a lot of damage to themselves. And it's good that Paradox made that improvement. For a game like Ragnarok, though, for a mod like Ragnarok, we actually want them to kind of slam against us to increase the challenge. Or I should say, if they're not going to slam against us and they're just going to play passive, that significantly reduces the challenge because it allows us to kind of pick them apart. So we're going to let it run for a little bit longer, and as we watch the borders slowly start to move out, and the first thing we're going to start to notice, or one of the things we're going to notice, we're going to get some attacks from the north. We're also starting to get some naval combat. Oh, that's because they picked up our fleet as they left Königsberg. We also can see some naval invasions. Paradox again did a great job of coding in so the Allies would not start early naval invasions because of its unlikelihood of success. That's a good thing in a normal World War II scenario. But in Ragnarok, now we're gonna unleash the AI. The AI can AI if they want to, and this is the warning that naval invasions are coming, and that's again why in some of the Ragnarok videos, or if you've played Ragnarok, you may have noticed that they don't naval invade. Here you're probably going to want to put some troops. This may be a little bit of an overkill. I just did it so I don't have to worry about the naval invasions that much while we do this video. But this is designed to make it very difficult for the AI to naval invade. They started to launch their attacks across the north. Interesting enough with Sweden. Interesting. And it looks like we've got some Denmark troops as well. Now as we continue to watch it play out, there's the first of the naval invasions. There's Sweden naval invading. The AI in some cases isn't particularly effective at naval invading, but other times is very effective. So we're going to let it continue to play, continue to let the AI move itself around. And one thing you may also notice is that it's similar countries in similar places. And that's something else we added. Again, we didn't usually give the AI more factories, more troops, more divisions. So the total number of divisions around this entire front looks very similar. But if we let the AI decide for itself where it wants to go, it will stretch its front along the entire line. And that means that they might have 30, 40, even as much as 40 divisions on the line, but by stretching it this far along, it seems like the AI is very hesitant to attack. So from the player's perspective, it looks really scary to see, of course Poland is generally pretty empty, to see all these divisions everywhere, but they often are sitting there passive because each individual country doesn't recognize that it could attack. If any one attacked and they all jumped in, they would be really effective, but they don't. And another change we made is we allowed the minor countries to attack on their own. I know, pretty cool. It may not be apparent to many of the games that, at least when I play in vanilla, but the AI is set, if there's a larger country or a major country with a battle plan in a similar area as their own, that the minor country, the smaller country, will not execute their plan, or is very less likely to execute their plan. That makes sense. That's a good thing to have, so they would play defense and help cover the line for the more powerful country. But, and I just paused it, but in this case we actually want them to help. We want them, because on their own the majors may not be able to break a German line. And here's the first of the cross the line offenses. And this is a much different attack, even with all these green bubbles. Again, I've gone to the console, given myself some stronger armies, even though it's one division, to help hold off. Across the line green bubbles, these are attacks from, in this case it's primarily, it looks like the Russians are launching attacks, more Russian attacks. However, look at this, more Russian attacks. So Russia has determined that it has enough forces to launch the attack. And that's because Russia is limited to the eastern front, so they were able to build up enough concentrated forces, so they will be defending the east. They'll also defend Romania as well. So there's an eastern front, a southern front, a western front, and a northern front, and different countries are assigned to those fronts. Not necessarily to give the AI a bonus, just simply to give them a better opportunity to launch an attack. And there's, I feel like we've got, it looks like a Czechoslovakian attack. Oh, yes, yeah, the Czechs are jumping in as well. At least the visuals appears to be the Czechs are assisting as well. And if you were to play Ragnarok right now with just the base mod, minor countries might be more hesitant to join into those attacks. So we're going to let it run for a little bit longer. Now if we continue to let it run, we can see some more naval invasions. These are kind of not fierce naval invasions. These troops don't have a lot of strength, or excuse me, a lot of soft attack. That one soft attack isn't going to do much against the divisions we have here, but if you had left those ports unguarded, those would be successful. So we're not going to let it run too much longer. Eventually the south will build up enough of its own strength. It will launch an attack. France will eventually build up enough along the west that it will launch an attack. And so what plays a little bit more scary. And please don't let this fool you. You see these green bubbles and you think, oh, this is easy mode now. No, that's because I went into the console and I gave myself extra strength, so I didn't have to watch the whole front crumble as I tried to talk through what we're doing. Okay, so we talked about the different changes to the AI. They don't get any more factories, they don't get resources, they don't get more armies. The Soviet Union doesn't get a bonus later. Countering that, they are now able to form fronts, which lets them be more aggressive and more effective, and they also get to naval invade. The last item we're going to be talking about, actually the second to last item we're going to talk about, is change to Spain. So Spain has an unplanned offensive, and that's the bottom left corner, and we've changed that, so effectively eliminated it. Now it's only a -1%, which is effectively no change. I did not completely eliminate the modifier, so that if you're playing the game and you see it, or if you're going down in Spain, you're like, oh my goodness, isn't there something supposed to be here? I can't see. What's the unplanned offensive? I can't see my negative modifier. I wanted someone to be able to see that that's simply been effectively reduced to, obviously not to 0, but I mean, -1% is 0. The last item we're going to talk about is the changes to decisions and the strategic options for Germany. And one thing I found, even when I was beating the original Ragnarok, and I watched people play, it seems to be at a similar feeling, is that it just slogs. Like you can take Netherlands, take Belgium, take France, take Italy, and you're just fighting and fighting, and it just, even long after the point where you'd feel like you should be winning, you should be rolling downhill, and you've won, like there's no real threat, it's just continually to be a challenge. I say a challenge. To me, a challenge would be like, oh my goodness, I might lose. More like, oh my goodness, let's kind of move this thing along. So we've added some strategic options. and to effectively reward the player as they break out of Europe. So in this narrative, of course, Germany has been attacked for no good reason. So we're going to liberate the countries of mainland Europe, Britain, and Ireland from tyranny and the unjust warmongering. That means control the land. Then integrate the local population into the freedom and peacefulness of the German Reich. What that means is that if you can control the country, in other words, put your troops into the country, into those states, then you'll be able to click a decision without any political power and core them, which of course eliminates the resistance, gives you their manpower and their factories. Now if you can't get out of Europe, it's not going to help you. And if you're able to get out a little bit, it's going to help you a little bit. Keep in mind, as you capture more ports, you're opening up yourself to more naval invasions. But as you start to move things along, either into Netherlands, Belgium, and Luxembourg, or if you're able to take Sudetenland, and the Sudetenland is considered separate from Czechoslovakia for the purpose of this mod, not for historical purposes, just because of how the game engine works, then you're going to start to see some rewards. As you start to capitulate France on its own isn't enough, you'll have to take Corsica. Italy on its own isn't enough to get the core decision, you'll have to take Sardinia. But it does mean that as you play through it, say an hour, 2, 3 hours from now, if you're able to break out of Europe and you're rolling through, you're going to start to get more and more strength, gain in strength, and start to feel the game is a little bit easier and more rewarding. You're going to get rewards for your conquests, and you might be in this willing to actually finish this off, and it's the goal of this mod to play it and finish it and say, you know what, this actually was pretty cool. I took over the whole world. This is a little bit of fun, and I might want to play it again. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this overview. If you're looking for something a little more challenging, you like achievements or like scenarios, please feel free to either give this mod a try or take a look at Ragnarok as well. That's a great mod. Thank you very much for watching.